Beau, Dan, and Zach, it is the 11 Warriors web report. All of the talk on the site, all of the talk on Buckeye Nation is on the quarterbacks and JT Barrett. Urban Meyer was asked, will you consider a change of quarterback? His answer was a curt no. Zach, why was that the right answer?
It's the only answer.
Now, I know it would be hard for you because I know you have a lot you want to say on this, and you're going to get emotional.
It is the only answer. I am one of the firm believers out there that JT Barrett is by far one of the best quarterbacks in Ohio State history. There are so many other things that go into playing quarterback than just throwing the football that so many fans don't understand. And Dwayne Haskins, Tate Martell, Joe Burrow, whoever it may be, aren't even on par with what JT Barrett does from a managing the game standpoint, from getting the offense in the right situation, to be able to even call the plays and get guys in the right formation. So it's not even a question about it. I'm not going to go too into depth because you know me. I was already going crazy today.
I know, but I do think what was interesting is you and I, we were talking before we started the show, and you said he is so far down on the blame list.
He is.
There's so much that can go around before I even get to him as a problem. And I think that's something that fans out there, this has been the biggest adjustment for me from watching games in the press box like I did for 15 years to watching them on television, because I can't see what's developing. And most fans are watching on television and they can't see what's developing offensively. You were at the game, you were in the press box. Are receivers open?
No, they're not open. They are not open, and you can't throw people open. You know, the hard part for him is you see him pump faking all the time and double clutching. It's because when receivers are supposed to be getting out of their breaks and they're supposed to be getting open based off the stem and everything else that they do to get open, being a wide receiver, being a playmaker, they aren't doing. So when they're supposed to be open, he's throwing. It's either going to be a pick or way incomplete, which what we're seeing, or he's going to pump fake and try and get his second, third, or fourth read, and it's way too late by that point. So I'm putting all the blame on the wide receivers right now. Trust me, Michael Thomas isn't out there right now, right?
No, he's not walking through the door either.
Devin Smith isn't out there going down the field, right? These wide receivers need to step up, need to take upon themselves doing, hey, maybe we need to be doing a little bit more to help out our quarterback.
You think about, and I think about this often and I'm going to get, because I think JT has some of it on him too, but I think about 2014 at Michigan State, and I think about how great JT Barrett was in that game, and I know what he's capable of. And I think Evan Spencer, Devin Smith, Mike Thomas, Jalen Marshall, Ezekiel Elliott. How many starters in the NFL on that offensive line? Okay? He had confidence in every one of those guys to do their job. And he does not have confidence in these guys that he's throwing to now. I don't know if he has confidence in the play calls. And I do think that is affecting his ability to play quarterback. I'm with you. I don't think he's the primary blame, but I do think that his confidence is a little bit shaken. As you talk to the guys in the room, Dan, what is the feeling in the locker room? Because that's one thing that I think there's a gulf, you know, the size of the Gulf of Mexico between the way that the locker room and the coaches think about JT Barrett and the way that the fans think about JT Barrett.
Absolutely. I think, first of all, for coaches, I think the coaches clearly still believe that JT Barrett is the best quarterback they have on this team. And, you know, I think we should all remember, you know, including those of us in the media, that we don't see them at practice every day. We don't see them in meeting rooms every day. So there's a lot of things that go on that the coaches see that we don't. Yep. And from what they're seeing, they're saying that Dwayne Haskins is not Cardale Jones in 2015. He's not right there neck and neck with JT Barrett. There's a gap between them, and to think that we all know more than the coaches who see these guys every day, we don't. So we got to defer to their judgment in that regard. In terms of a locker room, I think certainly the guys who have been there, the leaders, the guys who have played with JT for the past 4 years, those guys have his back. The question is, and we don't really know this because they're not going to talk about it, they're probably not going to be asked about it, is some of the younger guys, what do they think? Maybe the guys who came in with Dwayne Haskins, do they want him to play? We've seen some recruits on Twitter this week coming out and advocating for Dwayne Haskins, and I'm not really sure what the motivation is behind that, but it does make me wonder, maybe some of the younger guys, they're not going to say it, and if they do, they're probably going to be told by a leader on the team not to say it. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some of the younger players would like to see them go in a different direction.
I'm going to add one more thing. So everyone's asking for a better playmaker at the quarterback position, right? That's what all the fans are saying. We need a playmaker to facilitate the offense.
Yep.
If you want Dwayne Haskins, if you're calling for Dwayne Haskins, you're not getting a better playmaker. Dwayne Haskins is more of a pro-style quarterback than JT Barrett is. He's not as good as a runner.
He's not Braxton Miller.
He's not Braxton Miller. If you want a playmaker and you're asking for all this, be asking for Tate Martell. Tate Martell's the only quarterback they have that's going to look like Baker Mayfield or Johnny Manziel. If you have Dwayne Haskins in at quarterback, there's going to be less quarterback runs. It's going to be a lot more dropping back, three-step drop, throwing the ball. And guess what? Wide receivers still aren't going to be open.
What's funny is the perception that I think some people have of Haskins without that reality of who he actually is as a player. Now, he's got a big arm.
He's more of a pro-style quarterback than JT Barrett.
Yeah, he does. I'll tell you that the other thing that's in this that not a lot of people want to talk about, there's a faction of people that feel like JT has been entitled. JT was made a captain as a sophomore on that 2015 team that was loaded. He's the only three-time captain in the history of the program. There is some of that. I would pass this advice along. God willing, he takes it to Dwayne Haskins. If a recruit tweets you and says, when are you going to play? Do not quote tweet him soon. That would be the wrong thing to do, and I'm sure his coaches know that as well. That's the last thing that you want to do here. Let's move on to the next issue from this beatdown that the Sooners put on Ohio State, and that is the fact that the best coach was a 34-year-old on the opposing sideline coaching Oklahoma in his first really big game. Lincoln Riley coached circles around Ohio State.
You know what? He almost coached not scared. We've said that so many
so
times
impressive.
of coaches in big games coaching scared and stepping on eggshells to make the wrong call. Do you want Lincoln Riley came into Columbus, Ohio and said, do you want Baker Mayfield's the best quarterback in all of America, and I'm going to set him up to do whatever he wants and run around, and he's going to make plays. And Lincoln Riley threw the whole playbook at Ohio State's defense and was beyond successful doing so.
The brilliance of some of the play calls, I just hadn't even seen some of those plays before. I've watched a lot of football. Some of the stuff that he was doing I'd never seen. I mean, he really was an impressive guy. Look, this coaching staff at Ohio State is a very good one. This season is a long one. I remember vividly having conversations like this in 2014 when Virginia Tech came in here and blew the doors off Ohio State with that Bear defense, and we said, boy, this team got smoked at home by an unranked Virginia Tech. There's no way they can play for national title, and yet they did. So as the road to rebuilding those national championship expectations begins this week at Army, what is job one?
I think job one, first of all, offensively, definitely got to get JT Barrett's confidence up. Definitely got to make some plays happen with that offense. Go back to pounding that power running game that we saw work in the first game, and just experiment. Find some new play calling. Let Kevin Wilson and Ryan Day have a little more influence on the offense, and don't go back to a lot of the same things that you did last year that didn't work. Bring some new elements into that offense, I think, is important. And then defensively, the pass defense has to improve. We're not going to get to see that this week. So this week, from a defensive standpoint, it's almost an anomaly because we know Ohio State's run defense is pretty good, but even facing that triple option, it's just different than any other offense. So I'm not sure how much we're going to see in that regard.
Guys, this is the thing to keep to remind yourself of. The next time that there will be a real challenge here will be the Penn State game, of course, at the end of October. So that's the next real challenge. Between then and now, the defense will get better. These young guys will get confidence, and they will get better. I wrote down 3 words: power, run, tempo. That's what Ohio State is. This is a power run, tempo football offense. They've got to get back to that. Dobbins, Weber, whoever else, that is your identity. If you're going to win a national championship and play in the college football playoff, it's my belief that power, run, tempo is how you do it. Lots to talk about this week. That was the 11 Warriors Web Report. Hope you enjoyed it.